A year ago I spoke about Hungary being the experimental laboratory against the progressive liberal virus, and with international patents. These are important issues, but somewhat theoretical. This year of 2024, however, is not a year of theory, but of practice. Around the world there will be elections, and we must win those elections. These elections coincide with major global political and geopolitical trend reversals. The world order is changing, and we must win our causes in the midst of those changes. Progressive liberals sense the danger. The expiry of this era means their expiry, the end of the progressive world spirit. So remember, they are determined to do everything necessary, they will stop at nothing, and they are still in power. They are dangerous opponents who have no moral scruples. They are in power, and they will not hesitate to use the tools at their disposal. If necessary, they will use the state against us. As our American friends put it, weaponizing state institutions. And all this is happening before our very eyes. It is happening to us Hungarians in Brussels all the time. It is happening to President Trump in America. We are cheering him on to win his justice, not only in the election, but also in the courts. Our adversaries sit in the seats of power, at the head of institutions, and, instead of serving the common good, plot how to get rid of you. This is the situation in which we must win. This may be something new to Westerners, but not to us Central Europeans. We are very familiar with this situation. We saw how political repression was developed by the communists. But I think that not everyone in the West is familiar with this. So let us devote a few minutes to it now. In the past the communists employed a 5-step procedure to subjugate us by stealth. Now the progressives are emulating them. With these 5 steps they are turning the organs of the state into tools of oppression. First, they reformulate norms. George Orwell saw this, and described it thus: war is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. The first step in the progressive liberals' program of oppression is to take a norm and give it the precisely opposite meaning. War is peace is something that progressives also say today. Peace facility, this is the name of the Brussels financial fund from which they send the most destructive weapons to the front. Migration is a resource, they say, while crime rises, the threat of terrorism increases, and trust is drained from our societies. The second step is to use the instruments of the state to start spreading this inverted normality. Anyone who thinks otherwise is problematic. There is something wrong with them. Anyone who thinks otherwise is either ignorant or insane. The perception must be created that listening to them would lead to some fatal catastrophe. Then comes the third step, when they spread the word that because you hold dangerous views, you are also a security risk. They set some sort of fact-checker or democracy watchdog on you, and it is established that you do not share the views of normality that they preach, and that therefore you are a radical whose freedom of speech they need not hesitate to restrict. Then, in the fourth step, they incite the liberal press to attack you. Activists are mobilized, and then you are silenced through litigation. This leads to the sphere of fake depictions of you on the internet, denunciation on social media, and a horde of civil society entities bombarding the courts and state bodies with accusations against you. And if you survive all that, the fifth step is for state bodies to spring into action. They have received so many complaints and accusations that they are obliged to investigate you. This is how public bodies become the private institutions of the progressives. They find that the accusations in the media and the concerns of the watchdogs are well-founded. They indict you, and in the end state bodies are used to silence you. This is what they do to Hungary in Brussels, and this is what they do to conservatives in progressive liberal European capitals. The same thing is happening in the United States, where court proceedings are being used to try to remove President Donald Trump from the ballot. This